Also, I like thinking about having an itchy hole, and I have a boyfriend that doesn't let me itch my hole, and every time I try and itch my hole and he catches me, he sprays me with a spray bottle, and even in public too. Ugh.
Oh, it's the kid getting words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we're all just ripping into whatever the fuck day you're listening to this. You know what I mean? My God. Look, straight off the bat, I don't know what's going on today. I have the craziest amount of anxiety in my life. Just woke up with it this morning. I literally feel like I'm on the verge of throwing up, and I don't know why. I can only assume that it's because I've got an absolutely ridiculous day today. Just had the chaotic school drop-off, as I do. Kicking, tantrums, yada, yada, yada. You move on, you get past it, but then I've got to get this done, record it, edit it, post it, all that shit, and then I'm going up to the city for a potentially cool little opportunity that's presented itself. Before I fucking lose track of that, before we get into the opening clip, there's a cool little thing that's popped up. Friend of the podcast, Ryan McCarthy from the One Talk podcast. He was a guest, a while back now, probably over 12 months ago, probably 18 months ago. I just lose track of time with this thing. He's obviously got that cool space up there at Bowen Hills, I think it is. And he messaged me last week or the week before. He's like, hey, you want to come up and have a bit of a meeting? I've got a cool little concept I want to get you involved in. And you guys know I fucking hate running rooms, okay? It's my least favorite part about doing comedy. But they've recently just taken over the lease of the warehouse behind their podcast studio, and they've kitted this thing out. It's unbelievable, okay? As soon as I walked in the space, I fell in love instantly. Graffiti on the walls, warehouse vibes. They're building a bar, they're building a stage, all the bells and whistles, premium sound, premium lighting, all that stuff. They got like a full media team, like that's their bread and butter. They're going to be filming the whole event, things like that. And he goes, what do we need to do to get comedy happening in here? Gave him my ideas. He was on board. And look, the thing I like about this is I'm not necessarily running the room in quotation marks. He's literally doing everything. All he needs me to do is host the shows and organize a lineup for the shows, which in theory, piece of piss. I can do that, okay? So I'm going up there today. I was meant to meet with him next week, but he messaged me over the weekend. He's like, bro, I'm that excited for this. Can you come on Monday and let's lock things in? So as soon as I finish this, I'm racing up to the city for that. And I think that's just why I've got a ton of these little butterflies in my stomach, just because it's like it's the first Monday I've got from school holidays. And I was just like, I can't wait to have a chilled out Monday, just get the pod done, get a couple of things around the house done. And it's just... It's all fucking hit me. So anyway, guys, that's just where my head's at. Let's see what this opening clip was all on about.
Also, I like thinking about having an itchy hole, and I have a boyfriend that doesn't let me itch my hole, and every time I try and itch my hole and he catches me, he sprays me with a spray bottle, and even in public too. Ugh.
Jesus Christ, is this bitch a cat or something? Just spraying her with a spray bottle when she gets an itchy hole. At what point does the relationship get to this? How many times do you have to itch your itchy hole before your significant other goes, hey, cut that shit out and spray you with a fucking water bottle? She probably goes to the hairdresser, and when the hairdresser pulls out the fucking spray bottle, her tight itchy hole just clenches. Oh, God. If Itchy Hole is not the episode title for this, I don't know what's going to be, guys. But, literally a fucking crazy week this week in this household. I didn't even have this on the run sheet. And then as I was pulling in from school drop-off, I'm like, how did I not have this on the run sheet? But long-term listeners of the pod, you'll remember probably I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe even longer, we had a significant water leak in the front yard. Now, we dug up a whole heap of our yard just to find this tiny little leak. And Friday afternoon, no, when was it? That's right, it was last Wednesday. So I had booked two annual leave days off, Wednesday and Thursday last week, purely to go to the IBC, okay? And we're going to touch on it. Don't you fucking worry about that. But we get a letter on Tuesday afternoon from the council saying, hey, we've noticed that your water usage has fucking like gone up times 10. You might have a water leak. Now, the day before I was kicking the football in the front yard with the boys, and I may or may not have stepped in a big muddy puddle, and I've gone, that's a bit of a weird spot for a muddy puddle to be. And sure enough, start digging, and there's a fucking water leak like, I don't know, 1.8 meters down. My God, do I fucking hate digging for that shit. And good news, it all got fixed on Friday afternoon. We organised a plumber. But before all that, my knuckles are healed now. Fuck being a plumber. Shout out to all you plumbers listening to this. There's two things I won't touch on the house: plumbing and electrical, okay? Both of those things scare the fuck out of me, especially a water leak in the front yard that's running from your main line, okay? I'm like, if I fuck that up, my whole street is just going to be drowned in the matter of minutes. So I'm like, you know what? I'll find the leak. And I started digging for about 2 hours. This leak was just not showing up. So we called a couple of plumbers. They're like, oh, it's a minimum like $500 to $600 just for us to come out with a leak detector. And I'm like, brother, sounds like I'm going to be digging for a couple of days. I'm not paying that. I'd rather go out there with a shovel and dig my entire yard up than pay someone $600 to pull a fucking little thing out of their car and just be like, oh yeah, leak's there in the matter of 2 minutes. That's crazy. No wonder plumbers are cruising around in Lambos and shit. But anyway, I found the hole, okay? Then we organised a plumber. Now, in all of that, it just, there's something like, obviously, I've done a lot of work on this house, okay? And there's something that triggers your manhood when people just start to like question you and be like, oh, why don't you fucking do it? Blah, blah, blah. Because Nikita was on the phone to her dad and he's like, oh, is James having a crack at fixing it? And she's like, no, we got a plumber. And there was like, he didn't say, oh, what a giant fucking pussy, but I sensed it, okay? About 2 hours later, my dad calls me while I'm at Woolworths. He goes, oh, why don't you just go to Bunnings and get the fitting and fix it yourself? And I'm like, oh my God, everyone just doubting my manhood. So 6 o'clock that night, pitch black in my front yard. I go, fuck it. I'm going to fix this pipe myself. Go to Bunnings, get all the connections and jump in the giant hole in the pitch black and just trying to get this thing off. I was just smashing my knuckles on rocks and shit in the hole, getting angrier and angrier. I'm down there for about an hour and a half and I finally get the new fitting on and I'm like, all right, babe, go turn it on. Are you ready to see some magic? And she goes and turns the water on. The fitting that I just put on gave way and I'm like, fuck this shit. Leave the plumber booked in for tomorrow. I am over this. So that could be where my week went downhill, but we need to get onto some happier and funnier shit. Sorry, guys. A lot of the time I use this podcast as a venting process, okay? This is like my therapy. Therapy's not really my thing. I don't enjoy talking to people about my feelings and shit. So I'm like, hey, why don't I just jump on here and tell someone in India how I feel? Again, blows my fucking mind when I look at the little download map at the end of every week and I'm like, why are people on the other side of the world listening to me dribble shit? But I appreciate you all. And again, don't understand why you do it. I'm quite parched, guys. So you know it is that time of the episode where we need to crack our delicious can of kamikaze. What do we got? We got Hawaiian Splice today. It's up there. It's up. I will admit this flavor took me a while to grow on me, but now I fucking love it. So let's crack this bad boy. Oh, yeah. And again, guys, it's a rollover of a new month. Go to the website, use code word CAMICGW, gets you 10% off all your orders, and it's the best energy drink on the market. I'm not going to fucking lie. So let me have a little sip. Oh, and before I do forget, guys, I always I get to editing the podcast and I'm like, fuck, haven't given them a shout out this week. And they haven't been like, oh, give us a shout out every episode. They've been the most chilled out relationship. Knuckle bet. If you're into your punting and things like that, obviously responsibly, get around Knuckle bet. They've got offers and all that on all sorts of things. Footy, horse races, the World Cup. I think it finished this morning actually. So you probably won't get a market on that, but get around them, guys. They're supporting the pod, so the least I can do is support those bad boys. So let's get on to some, like I said, some brighter, happier shit. I got a little notification on my phone yesterday. Westy has the Life Ed van today. Do you guys remember that? Healthy Harold, just bringing back all those childhood memories. And as a kid, I remember going to this van and I was like, Jesus Christ, it's a scary world out there, you know what I mean? Drugs everywhere. Every corner I turn down, there's going to be drugs. Oh my God, I'm so scared of drugs. Just going out in public and strangers just constantly offering you drugs. Just peer pressure every 5 minutes of your life. Now, I put that in the same bracket as quicksand. I thought quicksand was going to be a lot more of an issue growing up. I have not come across one patch of quicksand in my entire life. I don't even know where quicksand is native to, now that I think about it. But anyway, now that I'm older and I started to think about Westy going to the Life Ed van today, I'm just sitting here going, where the fuck are all these drugs? You know what I mean? All these generous drug dealers. They don't exist, okay? I don't want to shit on Healthy Harold in the Life Ed van, but drugs are fucking expensive. If you turn a corner and somebody goes, hey, here's all these drugs, take them. Because if you're not going to take them yourself, you can at least sell them for a healthy profit a couple of corners down. Nobody's just giving away $80 worth of cocaine to year 8 Jimmy, okay? It didn't fucking happen. So they just acted like when you're a kid, they acted that like it was going to be like you'd go to Woolies and then some stranger would be like, hey kid, want to try some heroin? And then you'd be like, oh, no thanks. Healthy Harold told me the right path to go down. And then they'd just go, fair enough, mate. Have a good one. You know what I mean? Biggest fucking scam ever, the Life Ed van. So I actually can't think of one lesson they taught me in that van that I now live by to this day. So anyway, speaking about like lessons and getting angry about shit, last Monday, I finished the podcast. Like I said, it was the last day of school holidays last Monday. And for whatever reason, my kids' school went back on the Tuesday and the kids go, Dad, can you take us to the park to ride our bikes? And I'm like, sure. I got the podcast done. We had some time before Nikita got home and we get to the park, almost empty, okay? I reckon there was a scattering of maybe 5 kids around this entire parkland. And we're playing, we're having a sick time. And all of a sudden, I see in the distance what can be only described as a shirtless, crazy crackhead, okay? Just tweaking through the bushes, searching for shit, just on some sort of never-ending journey. Crackheads, here's a little bit of an FYI for you guys. You're never going to find what you're looking for. I don't know what. You guys are so busy all the time. I don't know what you guys are searching for, but you never seem to find it. And then Westy and Parker start to clock him as well. So I'm observing him through the corner of my eye. And then Westy and Parker get sight of him and they're like, Dad, what's that guy doing? I'm like, oh, just don't worry about him. Just pretend he's not even there. And we keep playing. This guy's getting sketchier and sketchier and he's slowly coming closer to us. And I don't know if this is like the TRT kicking in or something, but my dad brain just immediately jumped to, don't you fucking dare come near my kids, okay? Oh. Sorry, guys. I'm still fucking sick. I don't know what I've got. Probably AIDS or some shit. Anyway, I was like starting to paint these pictures, these story arcs in my head. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there wanting him to start something. I'm like, oh, God, please come and start something. I start trying to like play out every situation, every way this could possibly go. I start like getting my camera app with the video ready to record, ready to throw that to Westy and be like, hey, record this whole thing in case we need to use it in a court of law in a couple of weeks. And I just start mentally warming up. And I'm looking around the park. And like I said, there's probably 5 other kids there. And they're all just with their mums. And I'm like, oh, even if he starts something with one of them, I'm going to have to step in. I'm the dad of the park. I'm taking ownership of all the kids in this park. And I'm getting so fucking angry. Then I start to look like the crackhead. I'm just like warming up the shoulders and stuff, doing some shadow boxing. All of a sudden, I'm the craziest bloke in the park somehow. And unfortunately, this crackhead just disappears behind the toilet block. And I was a little bit disappointed, if I'm being honest. I was so amped up. I'm like, God, I fucking want to throw down. And just leaves me with the question, does anyone else wake up just with that want of wanting to punch a crackhead in the face? I don't know what it is. It's just deep within inside me. And the only thing I can put it down to is the testosterone kicking in. TRT should come with some sort of side effect warning label like increased confidence, back acne, and the possibility of wanting to fight homeless people, okay? I don't know where my brain was at. Unfortunately, like I said, nothing went down, but it is what it is. This was like a couple weeks ago, to be honest, but I only pulled the trigger like this week. So we went to EB Games. I forget what we went there for. I think Westy wanted some basketball cards or something. Couldn't be bothered driving him all the way down to the card shop. So I go, let's just go see what EB Games has got. I know they got like Pokemon cards and shit like that. I was like, maybe they got sports cards. Who knows? Going to take a little sip real quick. Didn't have what he wanted. And we're cruising out. And you know how EB Games has got like the bargain bins with all the games and shit in them? Westy walks past one. And the front game is NBA 2K25 or 26, whatever the newest one is. And it was they had $20 on it. And Westy's like, Dad, can I get this game? And I'm like, sure. Like, he had his own money and shit. So I'm like, if that's what you want to spend your money on, I'm like, obviously, that'll be $20 gone from your card money. And he's like, yeah, it's all good. He brings it home, throws it in the PS5, starts playing. He's loving it. He goes, Dad, this is the sickest game I've ever played. He's on there for like an hour or so, and his games are pretty fucking tight, okay? He's winning by like 2 points, sometimes 4 points if he plays a good game. And he goes, Dad, can you have a turn? And straight away I'm like, oh, nah, I don't really want to play that, you know what I mean? I'm sort of out of my PlayStation addiction. I don't want to get back involved. And he goes, oh, please, Dad, just one game. And I'm like, all right, no worries, give me the controller. I pick my team, and straight away, muscle memory, like riding a bike. I just fucking beat this team by like 70 points. Westy's sitting there with his jaw on the floor. He's like, Dad, how did you do that? I'm like, brother, hours of drunk NBA 2K with the boys back in high school days just came flooding back into my brain. And I'm like, I'm the GOAT of NBA 2K, okay? Anyone that wants to challenge me, hit me up. Send me your PlayStation gamer code or whatever the fuck they call it. And it's led to me slowly getting back into my PlayStation addiction, and it is bad. It is so bad. I saw another thing this week. I'm not pulling the trigger on this because I know it's going to lead down a dark, dark path, but PS5 is just, I forget what they call it, like revamped Black Ops 2. My God, I cannot do that, okay? If you think I spent enough time on NBA 2K, COD was like, that's what I used to live for, okay? The amount of sleepless nights I spent playing Call of Duty, absolutely insane. So I am not restarting that addiction, because next minute I'll just be ordering Uber Eats, a 2-litre bottle of Mountain Dew sitting beside me, just a headset on, just ripping on 12-year-olds' mums and shit like that. It's not good. Just yelling racial slurs to 13-year-olds. I don't actually yell racial slurs, okay? Everyone calm down. But yeah, let's break out of that with a turns out it can get worse clip. I think it's this one. I didn't name them this week because I'm a fucking idiot. So let's hope this lines up.
Hey ladies, if your fucking grown-ass man at fucking Burger King puts a fucking crown on his head, that's a fucking retard. You don't go on a second date with that type of fucking stupid. A grown-ass man running around with a fucking Burger King crown on his fucking head. I'm the king! You're a fucking retard.
Brother, you need to calm down. It's a piece of cardboard. My God, fucking relax. There's some angry men on Instagram. Shout out to you guys if you are rocking some Burger King crowns. Let's just get on to some news in the comedy world this week. My DMs have been blown up by the second topic we're going to talk about, okay? One sec. I'm just going to hit the cough button real quick. Oh, hopefully that didn't come through the mics. But probably my favorite comedian at the moment, Shane Gillis. My God, if you saw what he did over the weekend, absolutely insane scenes. He has just achieved the biggest live comedy show of all time. 75,000 people filled out a stadium in Philadelphia for him, and it was absolutely wild to see. And it was just so good and refreshing. Like, obviously I listen to his podcast every week and shit like that. He's been like on and off, like preparing for this show because obviously it's so big. And just to hear, like, it's refreshing to hear how normal and like self-aware he is still. He's like, this is fucking wild. He's like, I'm so nervous. I'm going to bomb. This is going to be the worst show of my life. And I think that's like why I like love him so much, is because he just literally thinks what we're all thinking, and somehow he just keeps like, well, not somehow, obviously he's talented as fuck, but he just keeps like rolling this momentum on his success, and he's like, why is this happening to me? I'm a fucking idiot that just talks about Down syndrome and gay people 24/7. So it's absolutely wild, and it just goes to show that success can never fix, like, what's that thing? Imposter syndrome. So it was crazy to see him fill a stadium in his hometown and just relate that to myself in a weird narcissistic way of like, holy fuck, imagine if one day I do achieve the dream and sell out Suncorp Stadium. Again, never going to fucking happen. I'm struggling to get a sign-up spot. But anyway, it is what it is. Shoot for the moon, you know? And the second bit of news in the comedy world, again, this is the one my DMs flooded about. Shout out to all you guys that did send me a message. My favourite comedy couple is getting a divorce after 18 years. Tom Segura and Christina P calling it quits. Again, the rumours are circulating as to what's going on. Nothing really has come out from either one of them, so we don't really know what it is. But I've got to say, like, they are probably up there with like the biggest influence I had for podcasting. Okay, and it, like, obviously they have their cool guy clips. A big thing with the turns out it can get worse clips. I just fucking basically stole that off them, just finding crazy people on the internet. And I've always said for the longest time, Tom Segura is like my pinnacle of comedy. So it absolutely, it's just heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Just makes you question marriage. If those two, they seemed so tight. They were just everything. You listen to their podcast, they'd be shitting on each other 24/7. They'd be talking about the crazy shit that their two boys got up to. And it was just, it was refreshing for celebrities to be talking like real people. So curious as to see how YMH changes. Rumors are that they're going to keep doing the podcast and shit like that, which is absolutely wild. Just imagine those two just talking about dates and shit that they went on and just, again, shitting on each other. It'll be absolutely unreal. It'll make the podcast double in size if that does come to fruition. But when you look at it realistically, I don't know if that's going to pan out long term. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful, but just doing couples therapy sponsored by your mum's house is absolutely insane. So again, sad news. I know there was a few of you guys as heartbroken as I was. So let's get on to a bit of an IBC recap from Wednesday night. I'm going to take a bit of a sip of my kamikaze. All right, let's start from the top, okay? Obviously, IBC 4 and IBC 5 got announced somewhat around the same time. Now, IBC 5 seems to be their next crowning achievement, if you will. There is a lot of star power on that card, some new signings. It's in a big venue down in Melbourne. I've never been to Melbourne, but apparently the Melbourne Pavilion is like notoriously known as holding good events and shit like that. And then the IBC 4 card got dropped. And look, it just, how do I say this? How do I say this politically correct? I looked at the card and I was like, okay, not really, like, obviously Isaac Hardman was on it again. He's a huge name. But the rest of the card, it was like, okay, it just feels like a lot of the fighters I'd seen on the first 3 ones. And I was like, okay, it could be good. And this is why this is going to be the biggest combat sport in the matter of years, because just like when every time I doubt Dana White, I'm like, this card's going to suck, and then it absolutely delivers. Uncle Dan knew exactly what the fuck he was doing, because this card was insane from start to bottom. Just, it doesn't matter who the fuck you put in that bullpen. They are just going to swing for the fences, and just, it's going to be unreal fights, fight after fight, and that it certainly did. So the IBC over-delivers again, just by absolute animals in there throwing bombs. So there was 3 championship belts on the line that night. First one, Gaz Phillips is your inaugural IBC heavyweight champ. That championship that I was eyeing off for the longest time is now around the waist of Gaz Phillips. And I think it's going to stay there, guys. If you want a poster boy for your first heavyweight champ, I don't know if he gets much better than Gaz Phillips. He is just such a quiet, well-spoken bloke. But when he gets in that cage, my God, would you hate to be on the other side. Just vicious fucking knockout. I believe he got knocked down early, and then he just came back. There's just no stopping him. So shout out to him, absolute legend of a bloke. Corbin Mitter, he wins the inaugural featherweight belt, and you could not. There's no better bloke to have that title around his waist. Absolute legend of a fella. A couple of DMs and shit over Instagram over the last since IBC 2, really. We've been back and forth, so it's good to see him. His opponent fell out 8 days before the show, and Uncle Dan found him a fill-in Ronnie Hull, who's been on a couple of the other IBCs. And again, no better opponent for Corbin for that featherweight belt than Ronnie Hull. So shout out to Corbin. And then in the main event, Isaac Hardman retains his belt. My God, but did he have to fucking work for it again? He got knocked down in the first round and just comes back from adversity and gets that belt. That easily, there's rumours that that's like fight of the year for IBC, and it is going to be very hard to beat that because absolute clinic of a performance from start to finish. Isaac Hardman comes out to Knowlesy, had the whole venue just up on its feet, just ready to go. So in that fight, when Isaac Hardman got knocked down, Uncle Dan was standing right behind me. I turned around, and he was stressing hard. His heart was in his throat, and he just didn't know. Well, none of us knew what the fuck was going to happen. That's the cool thing about IBC is you zig when you should have zagged, and all of a sudden it's night. So the other cool thing about IBC 4, the diamond came into play 2 times, maybe 3 times. So that was cool to see that finally after we didn't get it in IBC 3. It was cool to see that coming back into play. And just that whole venue, I was saying this to a couple of people down there. The last 3 have been in big open like venues, and this nice tight one that Uncle Dan did, my God, it works so fucking well. The atmosphere in that place was insane. And this is the other cool thing about the fight game, okay? It's completely counterintuitive. Is you go to comedy shows, okay, and everyone is just so for themselves. There's no real like camaraderie or there's support from a few people, okay? Don't get me wrong. But when you go to a fight, my God, the amount of fighters and shit that will just give you the time of day and just like have a yarn to you for the fuck of it and just be like, oh, when are you getting in there? I'm like, I'm not getting in there. I'm cut from a different cloth than you guys, okay? This is I tell stupid little dick jokes and talk about my dick and depression on a podcast once a week. You guys can go in there and swing for the fences. So unreal. So that leads us to IBC 5 down in Melbourne. Like I said, absolutely crazy card for that one in a cool event. So in a cool venue. So I'm brainstorming ideas to get my way down to Melbourne. I don't know. I don't see it happening if I'm being honest, but it is, I would fucking hate to miss it. But anyway, just a bit of a like honest chat. Let's finish this with an honest chat, okay? Obviously, when I had Uncle Dan on the podcast, when was that? It was right before IBC 02. So that must be coming up to like 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know. So I don't want to brag. Uncle Dan's first podcast on the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. And when we finished that podcast, he's like, open door policy for you. Whatever event you want to go to, there's a ticket on the door, all that sort of shit. And this event had me nervous because the amount of seen but not replied DMs I had to Uncle Dan over the last couple of months, oh God, it was making me sweat. And he shot me a message like 2 days before. He goes, oh, sorry, brother, there'll be a ticket on the door for you. I rock up on Wednesday night, go to the door. I go, oh, Jimmy missing? Ever so confidently. They go, oh, you're not on the list. And I'm like, fuck, he's forgotten about me. Luckily, I saw him cruising around, went and said, hey, Uncle Dan, I'm not on the list. And he goes, oh, fuck, sorry, mate. Quickly jotted my name down in a pen. They gave me a wristband. I walked in. But one big thing is I have really come to the conclusion that I am now the smaller fish in a big pond because there's a few podcasters and stuff now that have become heavily involved with the IBC, and obviously being at my level of podcasting, I feel like that ugly redhead stepchild. Okay, it just feels like I've been leapfrogged by so many other people, but it's just more of an internal feeling. I just thought I'd get out on the podcast, but still absolutely obsessed with the IBC. And I shot Dan another DM the day after the event, and I just said, brother, I understand like what you're doing, like these bigger podcasts, they're going to bring eyes, things like that. But at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to find anyone that is obsessed with combat sport as much as I am. I need to be involved with the IBC in whatever way you see fit. And obviously dream job with the IBC is to be a commentator, okay? I would fucking kill for that position. Now, they have a commentary team, and I was saying this to one of my mates down there. They are like top tier commentators, okay? They're huge in the boxing world. But what I really feel like the IBC needs is just that person on the panel that they're not necessarily technical or fully involved in what's going on, but my God, are they going to add some like fun, some little lines here and there that are just going to really pick up the broadcast and just bring a fresh look as like your generic punter watching the IBC, okay? So, I don't know. At the moment, it feels like when I text Uncle Dan, I feel like that chick that just sends like multiple text messages and gets left on scene. I feel like the crazy ex-girlfriend at this point. But again, get around the IBC, guys. It's only a matter of time before it's the biggest combat sport in the world. Before we get into my week in comedy, let's play another Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip. Believe it's this bloke. Let's drag him over. He's in a bit of... Oh, I hate it when that... Oh, my God. One sec, guys. It randomly just drops in the middle of my two screens, and then I struggle to get it. This guy is in an interesting position. Let's see what he's on about.
Fuck me. 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 Fuck.
Wow, that is some incredible flexibility, you know. But I don't know. I have no idea what the message he's trying to send in that clip is. If you guys are aware of what he's trying to say, then shoot me a DM. Let me know what he's thinking. Anyway, my week in comedy. Let's have a sip of kamikaze before we rip in. Now that is delicious. Kicked it off Monday night. I was at the Newmarket Hotel for sit-down comedy. And again, if you've been listening to the podcast and you remember my Newmarket chats, I always prefer to go towards the start of the lineup, okay? I like to get in, get out. Otherwise, it can be a long as fuck night by the time. I think they book like, I don't know, 15 to 20 open mic comedians on those lineups. And I rock up to the gig. I go to check in with the sound desk and he pulls out his piece of paper. He's going through the lineup and I'm like, oh shit, where am I? He goes, oh, you're closing out the show tonight. And I'm like, oh, that's great news. That is fucking great news. I hate going last there. I just knew I was in for like a 10 p.m. finish time. And luckily, I took my laptop and shit like that. So I'm sitting up the back of the Newmarket Hotel watching fucking Fox Sports on the TV or something. And then my time finally rolls around. I cruise up behind the sound desk again. And the MC, I was making small talk with them. And then they tell me this little line. And my God, it fucked with my head, okay? She goes, oh, I hit him up. Who's closing the show when I got here? And they go, oh, Jimmy Misson. He always does a good job. And she goes, yeah, so it must be like good that they have that level of trust in you to close out the open mic night. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like instant pressure. I'm like, I didn't realize there was like a hierarchy of the way they put these lineups together. And I said to her, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm trying new gear tonight. And she's like, oh, don't stress. She's like, it's all good. And I got up there and look, I did relatively well, okay? I didn't crush, definitely didn't bomb, but God, it was an unreal amount of pressure to like, felt like I had to earn that closer role, but is what it is. Then Friday night, had the Orion Hotel for West Park Comedy. And look, it was just, like there was no real standout moments. I was certainly burnt out. I had obviously the whole plumbing thing, had the gig on Monday, had IBC Wednesday, then I had this on Friday. I was at peak burnout on Friday. And I got there, set it up, and how many people there? I think there was like 70 people there, 70 to 80, maybe, somewhere around that mark. And yeah, it was a fun show. I was hosting again, another cracking lineup. And again, like I said, just no real standout moments. Like it was a great show, don't get me wrong. The crowd was up for it. All the comedians crushed. And I think we might be doing it again. I don't know. Don't fucking quote me. But like I said at the start of this, I hate running rooms. So who knows? Then cap off the week. Last night, I got a call on Friday afternoon. It has just got hot as fuck in here for some reason. And I don't know why. That's why I'm getting all agitated and fidgety in my chair. Got a call on Friday arvo from the owner of Sit Down Comedy Club. And he goes, I've had so many dropouts for our first night at the Morrison Hotel at Wollongabba on Sunday night. He's like, please, can you come and fill in? And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, if it was one of these, like, office people, I maybe would have denied it. But when he calls you and he, like, asks for a favor, it's like, you kind of got to say yes, okay? You can't say no. So I make my way up to this place. Holy fuck, one of the hardest venues to get into. You got to do, like, a spiral around all of Wollongabba just to get to the driveway. And got in there. There was maybe, like, 10 people there that weren't comedians, and I was on 5th. So the first 4 went on, and they struggled politely, and I was just sitting there going, fuck, like starting to get nervous because, like I said, the owner of Sit Down hasn't seen me do comedy for a little while, and the other week I said I did the Forest Lake one where he grabbed his jacket and hat right before I got on and walked out. So I was like, redemption, okay, this is going to be it. And I got on there. I'm now nervous as fuck after seeing the first 4. And I don't know if I've crushed that hard in front of 10 people in the longest time, okay? And you guys know I hate talking myself up and shit like that. But, I had them exactly where I wanted them. The laughs felt like there was like 100 people in there. And every couple of minutes, I'm just looking to the side. The owner of Sit Down's still just sitting there watching me. He's laughing along. And I'm like, oh, God, thank God, okay? Get off stage. Him and the MC are sitting together. They shake my hand. They're like, that was incredible. I'm like, oh, yeah, that old thing. Do that every night, you know. But the awkward story for the night, okay, I'm sitting there waiting to go on while the first 4 are on, and I'm at a table by myself. There's a spare chair, and the owner of Sit Down comes over and sits in that chair. Now, we're sitting there, and now as a comedian watching a show, the audience are the ones that need to clap the loudest. You leave that up to them. But as a comedian, you do like a courtesy clap, okay? It basically makes no noise, but it looks like you're putting in effort. And he instantly noticed my little comedian clap. And then he starts to give me a full tutorial on how to clap. I'm just sitting there taking clapping lessons from the owner of Sit Down Comedy Club and just being the biggest cuck, just playing along, okay? If this was someone else, then maybe I would have been like, dude, I know how to clap. But when he's sitting there, and he's got your career in the palm of his hands, you just sit along and you clap. You go, wow, that's a really good technique, okay? So I've had boxing coaches in my past, personal trainers. Now I've got a full-time clapping coach. So if you want to see me clap, maybe I'll clap at my next show if you want to come check it out. Before we get into what I've watched this week, let's play our last Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip. Drag this legend over. What's he got to say?
I flex on some of y'all motherfuckers this fine evening. What I have is called a job. It is an occupation where you make money and you don't sit on your ass at home. Some of y'all need to get some jobs because you are chuds.
Jesus Christ, way to brag, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get out of a job. Don't tell me I'm going to be a lazy cunt if I don't get a job, but please give me a tutorial on how I can make money without that full-time job. Things I consumed this week. I've only watched one thing, and my God, I am obsessed, okay? Another one on the long-time watch list of Nikita and I is a TV show on Netflix. It's been number 1 for like the last month or so. It's called I Will Find You. Now, I will say we're only 4 episodes in, but those 4 episodes, absolutely unreal. I am on the edge of my seat for every single one. It's given major like Prison Break vibes from back in the day. And look, spoiler alert, I'm not going to give anything away. I'll just give the general gist of the show. Basically, a guy gets jailed for his son's murder. They're accusing him of beating his son to death in his sleep with a baseball bat. And his sister-in-law comes for a prison visit 5 years later, and she's got a photo of a kid at an amusement park that looks like what his son would look like 5 years later, which is I understand it's a crazy thing to say, but his son had a very distinct birthmark on his cheek, and now this kid in the photo has the exact same birthmark. And it's like, holy fuck. And then just just the rolling of event after event. You're like, he's fucked. And then it just leads into a whole nother trail. It is so good. Apparently it's based on a book or something. I don't want to go and read the book. So I think it's 8 episodes. So like I said, we're 4 episodes in, and I'm just sitting there at the end of every episode. I turned to Nikita and I'm like, they better not fuck the ending of this. You know what I mean? I'm so emotionally invested in this. So yeah, shout out to that. If you haven't seen it, go get around it. Depending on how it finishes, I might give a full recap next week. But yeah, very, very scared of it because Netflix has one talent, absolutely making a banger of a series and then absolutely butchering the finale. So fingers crossed. If you've seen it, don't fucking ruin it for me. We're watching another couple episodes tonight and then we'll probably finish it tomorrow. So I am keen as fuck. But that's brought us to the end of another episode, guys. Shows to plug this week. I'm back at the Morrison Hotel again next Sunday, Sunday the 26th. And then that same Sunday, I'll be shooting straight from there up into the valley because I have that charity gig for children's cancer. So again, if you're in the Brisbane area, I would love to see some friendly faces in the crowd. It does kick off late on a Sunday night. I understand, but it would be absolutely unreal. So I'll be making a post this week about it with details for tickets and all that. But all proceeds go to children's cancer. There's bands and shit on the night, so it's well worth the ticket price. And then I might squeeze another sign-up night somewhere in there, maybe Tuesday night or something like that. But other than that, guys, if you want to get in touch with the show, send submissions via DM on Instagram at Can't Get Any Worse Podcast, or shoot me an email at can'tgetanywOrsePod@gmail.com. I think that's the first week I haven't fucked that up in like a month. So it's going to be a good day, guys. I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to get up to this meeting. I appreciate you all, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse.